I am Rikisha Bhaumik, PGT Biology at Kendriya Vidyalaya Sector 2, RK Puram, New Delhi. In today's session, I have brought for you a set of multiple choice questions from the topic Ecology and Environment. Ecology and environment is an important component of various competitive examinations, be it AIPMT or the civil services examination. Almost all the entrance examination of the state level and national level comprises of the questions from ecology and environment. Basically, this trend has emerged lately because of the rising importance of these topics on our lives. Ecology is that branch of biology which helps us in giving a holistic perspectives about the things being happening in the nature or the environment. Just like the diversity in living organism, biology is also a diverse subject in itself, having so many branches like botany, zoology, microbiology, molecular biology and biochemistry, etc. But there are certain threads which link these different branches into a unifying principle, and ecology is one such unifying principle which gives us a holistic perspective, and it helps us in understanding the various concepts with an insight. So, let us begin with our question answer session. Question number 1. The term biodiversity is commonly used to describe the number, variety and variability of living organisms. What is the heritable variation within and between population of organisms called? Here I would like you to recall the concepts which we learned in the chapter biodiversity. We have learnt about the various levels of biodiversity, if you remember, and there are three major levels of biodiversity. One at the genetic level, the other at the species level, and thirdly at the ecological level. So, the options are as given: species diversity, genetic diversity, ecosystem diversity, all of the above. So, what will be the correct answer? Yes, since the question is asking about the variety and variability of living organism, the diversity which is particularly related is the genetic diversity. So, let us recapitulate what points we should remember and recall while answering such question. Genetic diversity, which accounts for the difference in genes among individuals and species. Species diversity refers to the diversity among the species level within a particular region. Ecological diversity is the variation in ecosystem found in a region or over the whole planet. So, we are moving from the genetic to the species and to the ecological level. Moving on to the next question, which is again from biodiversity. The question is, biodiversity forms the basis for human existence in the following ways. Number 1, soil formation. Number 2, prevention of soil erosion. Number 3, recycling of waste, and number 4, pollination of crops. So, what is the question? Which one do you agree with? Biodiversity is essential for soil formation, because soil formation occurs by the process of weathering, and we know that there is an interaction of the biotic and abiotic factors which helps in breaking down the rocks and boulders and form the soil. Moreover, the litter and the dead matter also gradually form the humus and adds to the fertility of the soil. Secondly, prevention of soil erosion, we cannot agree more. The presence of plants, trees, grasses, the roots, they hold the soil together and helps in preventing soil erosion. The third one is the recycling of waste. Recycling of waste, we know that there are certain microorganisms which not only helps in nutrient cycling, but it also helps in decomposition process. So, the third one is also correct with reference to the biodiversity, and the fourth one is pollination of crops. Pollination of crops is undertaken by the pollinators. Basically, there are two types of pollination, autogamy and xenogamy. Autogamy is self pollination and xenogamy is the cross pollination. In plants where there is self pollination, although there is no need of pollinators, but for the cross pollination purposes we need different groups of insects or birds, bats or animals which help in pollination. So, this is also basically a function or a feature of biodiversity. So, the answer will be that we agree with all of them. Biodiversity is essential for soil formation, prevention of soil erosion, recycling of waste and pollination of crops. Moving on to the next question. Which one of the following is not a site for in situ method of conservation of flora? Again this question is also from biodiversity. We have learnt about the method of biodiversity conservation, where we classified the methods into two. One was in situ and the other was ex situ. So, here the question pertains to the in situ method of conservation. In situ means on the site method of preservation and protection of the organisms. So, what are the options? Number 1, biosphere reserve, B is botanical garden, C is national park and D is wildlife sanctuary. So, if you remember, can you answer this question? In situ method of conservation, I told you what are the different methods which comprises in situ. Biosphere reserve, yes. Botanical garden, no. It is a method of ex situ conservation. National park is yes, and wildlife sanctuary is also in situ method of conservation. So, the correct answer here will be botanical garden, which is not a site for in situ method of conservation of flora. So, what points should we remember? In situ conservation is the on the site conservation or the conservation of genetic resources in natural populations of plants or animal species. And the basic examples which comprise them are biosphere reserves, national parks, wildlife sanctuaries and sacred groves. Next, the Red Data books published by the International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources IUCN contains list of number 1, endemic plants and animal species present in the biodiversity hotspots. Number 2, threatened plant and animal species. Number 3, protected sites for conservation of nature and natural resources in various countries. So, we have described about the IUCN, International Union for Conservation of Nature, and we have seen that IUCN is the organization which is responsible for enlisting or maintaining a catalogue of the threatened species, and the catalogue is published by IUCN on a regular basis. So, what will be the correct answer? Yes, you are right. The correct answer is second, threatened plant and animal species. But here in the question, select the correct answer using the codes given below: 1 and 3, 2 only, 2 and 3, 3 only. So, in such question you need to understand the question properly, you need to read the question properly, what actually the question is asking. At times it happens that we know the answer, but because we are not understanding the question properly, we end up giving wrong answers. So, it is better to read the question properly. But in these options we know that IUCN only enlists the threatened plants and animal species. So, the correct option is B, 2 only. Moving on to the next question. 3 of the following criteria have contributed to the recognition of Western Ghats, Sri Lanka and Indo-Burma regions as hot spots of biodiversity. So, here the question is asking about hot spots of biodiversity. We have also discussed this, the hot spots. They are characterized by 3 important features if you remember. So, let us see the question. These are